You find yourself walking down a street in the middle of a city, a street packed with people walking slowly, slightly bent over, coughing, wheezing, some of them just collapsing in a heap on the floor. A man next to you suddenly just starts coughing up blood, and he too drops to the floor. Someone grabs your arm and utters in a pained tone, "Help me." You're startled when you realize that this man is your beloved uncle, a guy who only yesterday messaged you on Facebook and seemed totally fine. Even more strange is you see Ben Affleck crawling on the ground, with one of his hands raised in your direction. You know there's nothing you can do for him. The apocalyptic scene is straight out of a zombie movie. It's Return of the Living Dead in real life. Except of course it's not real life, it's a dream. We started having strange nightmares a few weeks ago, quite vivid dreams that were much worse than the usual nightmares. At the time, we thought nothing of it, but then lately, we started noticing other people writing on the internet that they too had started having frightening nightmares all of a sudden. Why is it that so many people all over the world right now are having bad dreams? Anyone else having really vivid, horrid dreams? Asked one of our friends on Facebook. There were lots of replies, and most of the people did indeed say they had all of a sudden started having terrible nightmares. Here are some of the replies. I kept dreaming about velociraptors, usually ends up with me gouging out their eyes with a scalpel whilst shielding the kids. Yeah, really strange, vivid, and always quite anxious dreams. Might have been weird, disturbed, and irregular. And so on. Just about everyone said they were having bad dreams, and it wasn't limited to just one place in the world. Friends in the US and Europe, Asia, were all suddenly talking about having nightmares. So what's going on? It's not limited to just social media either. You might have seen news articles with titles such as, "The pandemic is giving people vivid, unusual dreams." "Coronavirus is giving us bad dreams." "Is coronavirus stress to blame for the rise in bizarre lockdown dreams?" "Why am I having weird dreams lately?" In fact, just about every one of the major media outlets are talking about a new pandemic, the pandemic of scary, bizarre, vivid dreams. So first, we're going to tell you why this is happening, and later, we're going to attempt to help you out if you are having nightmares or can't sleep at all during this pandemic. Okay, so it's real, it's happening, and scientists have already begun doing studies on coronavirus pandemic dreams. It's complicated though, because some people have started having really awful and scary dreams, while other people are reporting that they're just having really weird dreams. A recent National Geographic story described a man who said he was in a store with the deceased former president of the US, one Ronald Reagan. In that dream, Reagan stole a wallet and ran out of the store. Is that what they mean by voodoo economics? Why are people from the past coming back in dreams right now? Why are the dead and buried being resurrected and starring in people's dreams? Well, one reason might just be the fact that a lot of people are staying home. Our dreams are often a reaction to the daily stimuli of our busy lives. But without the stress of work and all those interactions with the people you regularly meet, a hole has been left. That's because they're isolated in their houses. As one commentator said, "Because we don't have this stimuli, we are bringing back things from the past." That might be why Reagan and other celebrities, presidents and non-presidents alike, are coming back to life in our dreams. Many are reporting that the celebrities are infected with the coronavirus in their dreams, which could be from the reams and reams of news stories and scientific literature about the virus that a lot of us are consuming. Especially if you've been the type of person who normally avoided too much content about current events, then it's easy to be overwhelmed with the news. News that can look like a horror movie at times. It can quickly evoke reactions like, "Ah, we're all gonna die!" And that's because the news tends to focus on the most salacious stories and the worst-case scenarios. The media doesn't often report on people sitting at home watching Netflix who have mild or no symptoms. We're not condoning switching off the news altogether and ignoring the updates, but a person has to be careful not to get too stressed by overwhelming their brains with too much frightening information. You must also remember that stress hormones, the things that fire during what we call fight or flight mode, shouldn't be firing 24/7. You need a break at times to keep your body as healthy as possible. That's because ongoing stress is bad for your body, and it actually weakens your immune system. Do you really want to have a weakened immune system and become infected because you spent all day in front of the TV watching 24-hour news networks? Change it up and read a book, meditate, exercise, or watch some comedy. On the other end of the spectrum, many people are saying that they are not getting much sleep at all. They're not getting those good deep sleeps and have those REM moments. But it's during REM sleep that we dream, and dreams, even bad ones, are a way to fight off stress. All that saved up emotional stress can be calmed in your sleep. While much of your brain kind of turns off during sleep, a part of the brain called the limbic system is very active in the dreaming stage of sleep. It's like fireworks are going off in there. This part of the brain, in very simple terms, deals with emotions and memory. Dreaming is kind of like letting it all out, and the limbic system is calming you down during sleep. even if those dreams are nightmares. Another thing is a lot of people don't remember their dreams because they don't wake up during REM sleep. But this has changed for a lot of people because they're losing sleep because of the stress of the virus. They stay up through the night and so are remembering more dreams than usual. A study led by the Lion Neuroscience Research Center said 35% of people it interviewed reported remembering more dreams, and 15% said their nightmares had increased. The Italian Association of Sleep Medicine also did a recent study on dreams and concluded that locked-down people were having frightening nightmares, and some people were showing symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. Think about it. Some people are stressed from not having a job, but others are stressed because the news all day is saying death, death, death. We're also locked down, which feels kind of spooky. Lately, there have been memes about living inside a Black Mirror episode. Even if we're not holed up in our rooms all day, when we do go out, it's like living in a dystopian world. It really is Black Mirror-esque. When everyone else you see is wearing a mask and people are jumping out of the way if you get too close to them, every surface we touch becomes a worry to us, which freaks us out for sure. It's utterly frightening for some more sensitive people, so it's not surprising that our minds are in a state of crisis. A study at Harvard University undertaken in March said some American people were constantly dreaming that they were getting very sick or dying from the virus in their dreams, but others were dreaming of things that might be symbolic with death. Those things might be zombies or giant bugs or murders and monsters. The velociraptors that the woman dreamed of were likely COVID-19 related. There's not much more we can say about why people are having these vivid or terrible dreams at the moment, but the experts all agree we are living in a time of mass panic. People are stressed, and many people's daily stimuli is watching or reading bad news. So, how do we help ourselves? Well, like we just said, switch off the TV for a while or take a breather from reading COVID-19 news. Maybe just give yourself some time now and again to read what the scientists are saying, and then leave COVID-19 alone. You're alive. Breathe in, breathe out. We're gonna get through this. Pick up a book and get lost in that for a while, or watch some stand-up comedy or a movie that's always made you laugh. Do some of those home exercises we've talked about, and eat well to strengthen your immune system. Another thing that helps you is to write your dreams down, and so maybe you can analyze them. Don't just lock them away. Share your dreams too. There actually is a website where you can go to right now called idreamofcovid.com. Sharing your worries and your dreams can help with stress. Hey, why not talk about your dreams in the comments below this video? A memory researcher was recently interviewed and said she had studied people's dreams after 9/11. What was quite surprising is that she found that if people watched a lot of TV post 9/11, they tended to dream about it. But if they talked to family or friends about 9/11, then they dreamed about it less. I have a suspicion that it was the visual nature of the television, the researcher said in an interview. So yes, please tell people about your dreams and let the world know what you've experienced. Since we started reading about this bad dream pandemic, we've realized it's actually bigger than we thought. There are now thousands of Twitter posts with #pandemicdreams and #COVIDnightmares. It's a big deal for sure. One person right now researching dreams and stress agrees with that. She said in an interview, "I can't think of another universal stressor experience like this. Can you? Remember, it was just a dream and it was likely good for you. What happened in that dream isn't gonna happen to you, or is very unlikely it will. And your dreams are pure madness because the part of your brain that does all the rational thinking, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, is turned off during dreaming. Your thoughts and dreams tend to jump the shark, but remember this, your brain is just trying to help you when you sleep." Okay, now for some quick tips that might help you. Exercise is key to having a healthy mind. Exercise itself can produce positive emotions and reduce stress. We've done an entire episode of the home workout, so check that out. You should also get some fresh air. If you have a garden, go look at nature. See how the birds and the bees are still going about their lives as normal. You can also meditate, and no, you don't need to be a Buddhist monk to do that. Just close your eyes and be in the moment. Just concentrate on your breathing. Lose yourself in the present, and when you stop meditating, don't go straight back to the TV news showing you pictures of people hooked up to machines to help them breathe. They are not you. The science is confusing right now, but it's very unlikely that this will ever be you. If you do want to know more about the virus, then read some scientific studies. The US National Institutes of Health is a good place to start. Or you can look at the BMJ, the British Medical Journal. The virus is a work in progress and it can be confounding, but why not learn something about viruses themselves? We should say this though, don't make virus reading or watching TV news the last thing you do before you go to bed. You should take your mind as far away from that virus as you can when it's almost time to sleep. Pick up a book before bedtime, or if you're going to watch some visual content, then watch something pleasant. As one sleep expert put it, it's probably not helpful to be checking the news, reading about how bad the situation is, and then putting your head on the pillow and trying to fall asleep. You can influence your dreams by doing something relaxing and positive before bedtime. If you're stuck at home and have nothing to do, see how you might even earn money online. If you don't need to earn, then maybe get creative. Write something down, maybe even think of an infographic show that you'd like to see, something that we've never covered before, and send it to us. If we make the episode, we'll give you credit for coming up with the idea. Now go watch Everything You Know About Sleep and Dreaming is Wrong. Tips and tricks to sleep and dream better. Or go watch Work From Home Jobs You Can Get right now.